2024 NFL regular season opener is only 2 days away, folks. Cannot wait for it. Baltimore Ravens at Kansas City Chiefs. What a matchup it is. AFC Championship rematch between two teams that are, in my opinion, still looking like they're at the top of their conference, or at least very close to it, right? We're going to look at X factors for Ravens at Chiefs. These are not necessarily players, but concepts, areas of each team, and in some situations, players, yes, that are going to help determine the outcome of this football game. And we're going to do this preview style for a lot of games throughout the upcoming 2024 season, games that I want to talk about, games I'm fired up for, and we would be remiss if we did not start off with the season opener here. Again, it's in Kansas City. Obviously, Arrowhead is going to be rocking. Unbelievable environment. I've been there on the other side of things, as a visiting fan, and I'll tell you what, incredibly nice people, but it's loud. It's the loudest NFL environment I have been in by far. So obviously, as an opposing team, as a visiting team to Arrowhead, you have to get your emotions in check. You have to be locked in, and you have to have everything I's dotted, T's crossed, all that good stuff. Can the Ravens offensive line get the job done in this hostile environment? The Ravens are very used to turnover up front, and they've done a good job throughout the years adjusting to new pieces, but they have 3 starters from last year that are not on that field, not walking back through that door. Were they great starters? I mean, I think Morgan Moses was pretty good for them. Simpson, that's a guy who I think is a replacement level player. And then Kevin Zeitler at his best. Yeah. I mean, that is someone you absolutely have to worry about not having on the field. So can the Ravens offensive line get the job done, not only against the Chiefs defensive front, which is extremely talented. Let's not forget that, but in a hostile environment, playing together for the first time and live bullets flying, right? So can the Ravens offensive line get the job done both in the running game and the passing game? I think it's going to be fascinating to see that matchup between the Ravens OL and the Chiefs defensive front. Defensively for the Chiefs, no L'Jarius Sneed, another guy not walking back through that door, right? How do they deploy Trent McDuffie, who, in my opinion, is the reason the Chiefs decided not to try to throw a bag at L'Jarius Sneed and decided to trade him? I think they're going to want to sign Trent McDuffie as soon as they can to a long-term deal. He's a more versatile player. I think he's a better player than L'Jarius Sneed. He can follow your number one. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. He plays the run incredibly well. Great athlete, great instincts, just a tremendous cornerback. How do they try to deploy him, and how do they try to match up with the rest of their corners in their safety room is going to be really fascinating to me, because the Ravens do have receiving talent. Like, even though they might not have like the deepest receiving core in the world or a true number one top flight receiver, Zay Flowers is a tremendous player. Very good young player. Mark Andrews is back, right? You have Rashad Bateman looking like he's healthy. You have Isaiah Likely. So what do the Chiefs do to try to slow down the Lamar Jackson to Zay Flowers to Mark Andrews? Like, does Trent McDuffie just travel with Zay Flowers? Do they try to kind of bracket Zay Flowers and have Trent McDuffie take away someone else? What are they going to do? Steve Spagnuolo is a fantastic game plan defensive coordinator. So how's that going to work? That's a big question for me. That's going to be one of the X factors of this game. And then Nick Bolton and the boys versus Derrick Henry as well. Like, let's not forget the Baltimore Ravens went out and got one of the most physically dominant running backs of the last decade almost, right? With Derrick Henry. How do Nick Bolton, Chief star linebacker, that defensive front, and the other linebackers handle Derrick Henry? And if he gets past the second level, are your DBs able to make that tackle? I mean, Derrick Henry can ruin a ball game very quickly. And now that he's got Lamar Jackson next to him in the backfield, I mean, that's scary. That is very scary. I do think that Nick Bolton's one of the best tackling and run defense linebackers on the planet right now. So I think that's going to be a great matchup. Defensively for the Ravens, we talk about the turnover on the Ravens offensive line. How about this entire defensive coaching staff? Like, not literally entirely the defensive coaching staff, but a lot of it, right? Your defensive coordinator, now head coach in Seattle. You've got two other assistants that are defensive coordinators elsewhere in Tennessee and Miami. So Zach Orr, is he ready to get the job done in key moments, play calling against one of the best offensive minds we've ever seen in Andy Reid, the best quarterback I've ever seen in Patrick Mahomes? So many great players, so much speed, so much talent on the offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. And you could easily say that like Kingsley Suamataia in the starting lineup at left tackle, that's an X factor. It could be for the Chiefs, but for me, like, I think he's going to be ready to play as well as Donovan Smith played last year, which doesn't say a lot, right? And my point is, I don't think they need great left tackle play. They won the Super Bowl last year with Donovan Smith being below average, in my opinion, as a starter. I think with their coaching, Andy Heck, offensive line coach, and the way they do things, the way they run things, and Kingsley Suamataio's physical gifts and natural ability, I think that'll be fine. But can Zach Orr coordinate this defense at a high enough level to really slow down the Chiefs in some big moments? That's going to be tough. And my final X factor here is Xavier Worthy ready? Like, Xavier Worthy was a fascinating prospect to study because he flashed immediately at Texas as a true freshman, incredibly young. He went out there and was, their number one receiver. And then he continued to do that throughout his career. He dealt with some inconsistencies at times. He's incredibly small for a receiver, right? 160 pounds soaking wet, but he's got speed you can't coach. And Patrick Mahomes throwing him the football and Andy Reid dialing things up, I have a strong feeling it's going to be difficult to get hands on Xavier Worthy with the way they have him probably moving around the formation, not aligning on the line of scrimmage. It's going to be really cool to see. And like when that moment happens, when the Chiefs dial it up for Xavier Worthy, is he ready? Because he's not going to have to be the featured guy, even though Hollywood Brown is out, and that is a factor for this one. That's absolutely a factor for the Chiefs, and I think it's going to lead to potentially more Xavier Worthy usage. But they still have Travis Kelce, in my opinion, the best receiving tight end of all time. And yeah, he had a little bit of a down regular season last year, but you look at what he did in the playoffs, he's still ready. He's still good to go. Juju has familiarity here, no question about it. And Rashee Rice, at this point, not suspended. Looks like he's playing. And looks like Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy, Juju, and this running game, that's more than enough. And the offensive line and obviously play calling, that's more than enough for Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, to get back on track in terms of his numbers and just putting up like godlike numbers. I honestly think that with the speed that they now have on the field, combined with the ability of Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and Juju Smith to eat against zone coverages, Isaiah Pacheco causing earthquakes with every step, it's going to be tough. And I do have the Chiefs winning this game at home. I know they lost the season opener last year to the Detroit Lions, but I've got the Chiefs winning this one because I just think they're a little bit more of a complete team. I have less question marks, and as much as I love Lamar Jackson, I think he's the third best quarterback in the NFL right now. Getting Derrick Henry in that backfield with him is incredible. We still need to see it from this new look offensive line. We still need to see it from Zach Orr. The Chiefs just have less questions, in my opinion. And, again, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback of all time. Already. Patrick Mahomes. So I've got the Chiefs winning this one. I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be exciting. I think there's going to be plenty of points put up on the board, even with both of these defense being among the best in the league. I think these offenses are just going to be a little bit too tough to stop consistently. The Ravens defense, even with a new defensive coordinator who has been around, Zach Orr knows the Ravens' way, and I'm sure he's going to bring his own spin to it. They have a ton of talent in the secondary. Roquan Smith, first or second best linebacker in the league, bottom line. Still got the Chiefs winning this one. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section below how you're viewing this game, what you think about these X factors. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell so you don't miss a show. Y'all have a good one.